Hello everybody, this is HaveAPencil and I'm going to be doing a video on DLC. Now this is going to be a live commentary, so I will not be able to edit out just about anything. So you'll have to excuse my uhs and things of that nature, because I am flat out not used to this kind of video. So bear with me, and as time goes on maybe I'll get better. So for any further ado, we're going to jump right into it. So first game I want to talk about is Payday 2, because they do a pretty good job of keeping their fan base happy. So the first thing I'm gonna discuss is just the quality of DLC that they're releasing. Now, many other DLCs are just usually one mission, a couple of guns, and maybe some masks, things of that nature. This is usually pretty good for people, but when they're charging around $5.99, things of that nature, I find it can be kind of a deterrent sometimes for me at least. But I'm kind of a penny pincher when it comes to DLC. The main problem I have with this system that they have is the guns that they've added and things of that nature, like the Gauge Mod Courier Pack, which has the barrel extensions that add a lot of damage and things of that nature, and you have your different foregrips, and then they added the explosives, and with the addition of the turret that comes on pretty well all difficulties, is it makes it very difficult for base players to kill anything. You almost have to have the RPG or the GL40 to get rid of turrets, or you have to have very high damaging weapons to really function on any difficulty above, really above very hard. It's going to be difficult for you. So there's that. And next thing I'd like to talk about is the frequency of the DLC. How often are they releasing new DLCs? Now, if we look at games like Battlefield or something of that nature, you're going to see they release it at a very set date, and it's going to be very hyped up. But there's only going to be about 4 or 5 of them, maybe. And with Payday 2, that's not the case. It's some of them are indeed going to be scheduled, but a majority of them are just going to be kind of randomly sent in. So I think it would be cool if they made. I would be okay with them making it more expensive, but releasing 2 at a time or something of that nature. Because it feels kind of right now like they're just releasing too many DLCs. Like, every DLC brings in a new factor. So you gotta, like, Molotovs, things of that nature. That kind of changes up the game in ways, because you can lock off hallways in certain areas. So you'll find that you won't be using a DLC for very long. I mean, some of them you might, like the Sniper Rifle DLC. That one was a good one, or some different DLCs of that nature. So you will use many of them very often, but a lot of them you will just be kind of overridden. Like the armored transport, like the weapons aren't overly used much, apart from being overly ammo conservative. They're not extremely hard-hitting or anything of that nature. So the main issue I really have with the DLC is just that it makes it really difficult for starter players to play things. I think the SWAT van turret was really the straw that broke the camel's back in my case, because on a normal 4-stores you're gonna have a SWAT van turret come and just wreck AIs, things of that nature. Because let's be real here, the AIs do not stand a chance against the SWAT van turret. They lack the intelligence to get into cover and things of that nature. Now, if Overkill patched the AI system or something of that nature, so that they would take cover whenever a SWAT van turret came, they'd go cover to cover instead of just kind of blindly running out there. That might work a little bit, but I honestly think that the SWAT van turret should be a Death Wish item, not so much just a regular occurrence, because it adds difficulty. I'll give you that, but the game was already kind of difficult enough. I mean, you got cloakers, you have your tasers and shields, things of that nature. It's like, if you need to make it more difficult, just add more of those guys. Because I felt the cloakers were a bit much as it was, but the addition of the SWAT van turret makes it so you literally cannot go outside. It is practically impossible. And then the placement of them on bank heists, if your safe's on the side towards the manager's office, the SWAT van can pretty well shoot in there because of the window. And that just, it's like if I just wanted to play a normal hard game or something, just kind of goof around with my friends, it doesn't really make sense to have a full-on SWAT van there, because it's really too difficult to destroy without explosives or things of that nature. Like if you have an RPG, it's pretty easy to get rid of, but it doesn't make sense. I think it would be better if there were one van, but having two really it pushes it, because you can combine efforts and you can destroy one of them, but having two of them it is really not worth the ammunition to take them both out. You can pretty well put all of your ammunition into it and it's not going to go down much unless you know some of the sweet spots or things of that nature. However, it did add a use for the ECMs on loud days, which can be very useful. Not only does it not shoot you for that period of time, but it shoots cops instead. I think that was a really good way of making it more useful, and I wish they would add a couple more uses for that. Another DLC I'd like to talk about is actually not for Payday 2. It is for a game called Insurgency, which I feel that Insurgency is the Jesus of community-driven developers. Really, every DLC that they have released has been free, and they have modding support. They have so many different little things that they've just given to the community that it is crazy. And Payday 2 has done a couple of these things where you join the community and you get like the Interceptor 45 and just random little tidbits that they give you, which I feel really helps people trust the developers a lot better. You don't feel like they're just there to get your money. It feels like they really want to make the game a fully functioning and smooth game, which is I believe their full intent. In Insurgency, you'll find that they have, like, the first Spring DLC was super surprise for me, because I was expecting to buy a $15 game, play it for a little bit, they release a DLC, maybe one or two, and then game kind of dies down, and then I go and find a new game, because the servers are empty. But they just added, hey, boom, here's some new maps, here's some new guns, and they're just, boom, there you go, all free for everyone. Free for everyone, so there you go. And that amazed me. I was floored. It's like, wow, that is awesome. Because I'm used to paying $15, $20 for Battlefield 3 DLC just to get 3 new maps and a couple new guns, and Insurgency just gave it to everyone for free. So I think they did a really good job there, and then they released another one for free, and another one, and then they're like, hey, Steam Workshop, there you go. A bunch of you can dink with our game and make it to your liking, which is a really good move, I think, in my mind. Now, you have to consider that they're losing out a lot of revenue for that, so I have no real good answer for that. I lack the experience in game development and budget management for game companies to really understand what's going to earn money and what's not. But seeing as they're still going, I think as long as the sales keep growing, then their business should be fine as long as they're making money currently. I think it can only climb in sales. Just consistently updating it, giving free DLC, that's a huge selling point. That is a lot like the PS3 and Xbox 360 debate that kind of went on during its prime, because you had the PlayStation Network was completely free, so you could play online for free, and that as a Xbox 360 user, that really irked me. I was like, hey, man, maybe I should have bought a PlayStation, because this whole paying for Xbox Live, it's like, as long as I've had this Xbox, I could have bought a PS3, and I would have been A-okay. But yeah, it's very very similar to that debate, where having free DLC is gonna get you a lot of buyers, especially for $15, where it's at the price of a DLC. Another very interesting DLC, which isn't really technically DLC oriented, just the like free game weekends. Like if you download it within this certain amount of time, you have the game, which I think that's a great way to get a whole lot of people back into the community. So say if your game just does not have enough players in it. Just doing that for a weekend, that'll get you a lot of players back on servers and could realign your game for a little bit, which I think is a good move. An instance of this, which I'm not sure if it was just to get servers flowing or something again, but was Red Orchestra 2. They had it was either a weekend or a couple of days during the week that they just made the game free. If you downloaded it within that time, you had the game. There you go. Which I find it absolutely phenomenal, because the more players in that game, the better, because it is difficult to find populated servers in that game. So I think that was a cool move, and that allows people to get free games. So I mean, hey, what's not to love about it? So you're probably gonna lose money as a game developer doing that, but in the end, I think you're actually going to gain money from people buying the game to play with their friends and things of that nature. It's like, oh man, sorry you didn't get this game while it was on the free weekend, but it's only $15. You can buy it. All three of us have it. It's cheap enough. You can just buy it and we'll play together, because nothing motivates people to buy a game than have seen all their friends play it and not having it. GTA 5. Yeah. So I think that is a good move on all parts, is to have not so frequent DLC. Because I think that Payday 2 they released too many DLC that it just I don't feel motivated to buy the DLC, because it's just going to be replaced by another one within a couple of weeks or less than a month or so. So yeah, don't release it too frequently. Give a couple things to the guys who buy your game. It's like they've bought your game. If it's upsetting balance for free players, just give them a couple of the items. So yeah, I'd say just giving community people items. Modding support's really great. If you can get modding support into games, that is absolutely superb, because that allows a lot of the people to spread their ideas and things of that nature. So it takes a lot of stress off of you as a game developer or game designer and things of that nature, because a lot of the people aren't pressuring you for those ideas, because they can make them themselves. So you also have to wonder, releasing things of that nature can open your game up to bugs, things of that nature. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. Just as long as they're not game breaking, they can be extremely fun and overall just a absolute blast to experience with friends, things of that nature. So I think that's about it for this video on DLC. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope my hiccups in recording this don't bother you too much. So thank you for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Later.